What's going on, my soccer parents? This is Bali with Soccer Parent Life. Today was supposed to be Anonymous Caller Day, but we got a real one here. So we're going to let my guest here, Coach Mike, just go ahead and beat himself because he's pretty straightforward guy. So I think that we could just interview him and let him introduce himself. So, Mikey, obviously I know you, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, my name is Coach Mike. I'm originally from Southern California. I started my coaching career back in 2015 with a club called Oxnard United. I ended up getting a 2005 girls team that started at silver. We ended up ending our career at gold. I coached them from 2015 all the way until they graduated high school and ended up in college. I still train some of them to this day. I did end up leaving California to try new avenues and just get a new perspective on coaching soccer and life outside of California. I now coach for North Carolina Football Club in obviously North Carolina. I also own my own soccer training business called Instinct Soccer Academy. Things have been great. Things have been great. I think I think I don't know. Overall, in regards to the differences between the California and North Carolina, I think it's been a little bit of a change, but it's been a great time.
Nice. Well, yeah, I'll kind of share a little bit of how I know you. Mikey was the coach for the '05 girls, which is a year younger than the team that my daughter played on for the same club. So we saw each other a lot. I saw you guys training out there. You guys did joint sessions too. So I that's how I ended up meeting you through our coach at that time. And obviously you guys played together, so you had a relationship there. So that's how I know Mikey. So I was happy to have him come on. I like Mikey. I thought I've always thought good things about you, bro. I'll be honest with you. I've always been very positive perspective on your style of coaching. So I do follow you. I do see it, and I actually, you know what? I saw a post that one of your players or your people you train posted, basically talking about your impact on her. So I think a question that I want to ask you is, I think I know the answer. This is going to be like a leading question, but why do you do it?
Well, I do this because I absolutely love this game. I love this sport, and I remember what it's like to play this game and not have the guidance and the support behind you. I did have guidance and support with my coach and my friends, but when it comes to having that supplemental training and that mentor, I think that was something that I missed. And as soon as I stopped playing, I once I eventually fell out of the game. I wasn't coaching or anything, and then my friend Chris Magana had then brought me into soccer, and eventually we ended up splitting our ways, and I ended up getting my own team, and I absolutely fell in love with this game. I fell in love with my players, and I fell in love with growing this game in any way that I possibly could. So it really comes from my passion for the game and my passion for helping people get to the highest level that they possibly can for themselves.
Yeah, I feel you. I think I understand what you're saying with the mentorship part because I think as a head coach, it's hard for you to really mentor every single person. I think a trainer, you get more one on one. When you're doing like your academy, when you're training players one on one, I think you can play more of an individual like mentorship kind of role more. That's probably why you like that because it's hard when you have like 16 to 20 kids, and really have an individual impact is harder, I think. So I can understand where you're coming from on that. Now, you did kind of touch a little bit on the differences between North Carolina and California. I California is crazy. I think that's how I will say it. I talk to people from all over the country, and I know that it's not like a negative to be in another state. I think if you were to use the word that it's not as fast paced and crazy, I think that's what I remember from like Arizona. And I think that Arizona's changed a lot, but I remember it not being like this. but there's something unique about specifically Southern California. Can you speak a little bit more on the difference that you notice?
Well, with Southern California, I mean, it's ultra competitive. Um, One thing that I love about California now that I've seen others another state is I love that there's a lot of clubs in so many areas. Being from where I'm from, with North Carolina Football Club, things have become monopolized over there.
Hmm.
You have one club buying big clubs or buying little clubs and then buying another little club, buying another little club, buying another little club. That all these clubs have died out and they've all become one big whole. And you have to travel 3 to 4 hours just to go play a different club. And that's something that I'm not really becoming a fan of. I mean, I'm not at that age where I'm traveling so far, but I have girls that have um, gone up an age group and have gone to that level, and um, it's just tough. So since things have become so monopolized in North Carolina, we ended up as a lower age group. We're playing our own team because our teams are so branched out in so many different areas and regions that that's the only competition. And I think that has definitely hurt us in a competitive atmosphere. And I think that's where California definitely booms. And I mean, I remember when I played for Eagles or I played for Waves or I played for Oxnard United. When we played another club, it meant everything. Every game meant more. It's either we were going into your hood
Yeah.
and we were going to take care of you, or you were coming into our hood and we were going to back up our hometown and we were going
Yeah.
to take care of it. And it was a respect and a pride factor. And I think that is the biggest difference and the biggest change that I've seen from leaving California to going to North Carolina. But I that might not be a state thing.
It might
That
be a
might
national
be
thing.
a club thing because I don't know what LAFC looks like. I don't
Hmm.
know what their club looks like. I don't know what let's say New York Red Bulls look like. I don't know what their academies and those club teams look like. So now that I'm actually in an organization that has a pro team, life has been different. I mean, you know where I come from. I come from Oxford United that has maybe about I
Yeah.
don't know 15 to 20 teams, and we're a little club, but
Yeah.
it's
No, I agree with you.
been a difference.
Yeah, that's actually it's funny because I talk to people obviously a lot in my with my account, and one thing I kind of express to people that's what's unique about you know I don't know, maybe there's other places in the country like this, but I know Southern California is really like this, where you can have a small club put together a team from the local county or local area, and they're a strong team, and then you'll see them at a tournament, and they'll surprise you. Like you, who are these kids? You know,
Right.
they don't have a badge on. You know, it's just these kids got together with a good coach, and they show up to a tournament, and then you're like, dude, they're keeping up with the top tier teams that you would consider top tier teams. I think that's something you run across a lot here. Now that's starting to die down, I think, because I think a lot of these teams that I'm describing are getting picked apart. Their top players are getting picked up and sold the dream to join a lot of the badge clubs. The academies, MLS Next on the boys side, ECNLs on the girls side. So I agree with you though what you're saying, because you see, I never played myself. I actually hated soccer growing up, which is kind of funny, especially being Latino, and how did I not play soccer, right? And then I
Right.
end up with this platform for someone that didn't grow up playing. But I agree with you because on the parent side, that's what I fell in love with. Exactly what you described, which is the us versus them. Like when you play a team over the hill, like where we were from, that's like another group of people, and they got their best going, and they're working together, and they come to your place, and it's like literally a lot of pride involved. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of going away because it's becoming, you use the word monopolize. I think that's the right word to use because it's a business thing. It's good business if your intent is to make a profit. They're making smart business moves by buying the smaller clubs because then that's more revenue. On the flip side, it does help because it gives them a bigger platform because a lot of the bigger clubs have the bigger platforms. So there's some good things, but I think what I liked about it is starting to die off a little bit. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, I I think the United States has killed soccer. And the way I mean that when I say that, I think they've created so many leagues that they've diluted this sport. And they've also closed off this sport. Um, the best thing that I've always thought about CSL, Coast Soccer League, growing up was that everybody had an equal opportunity to be the best. It didn't matter who you were, what club you were from, what city you were from, what age you were. It didn't matter. If you were good and you were in first place or second place, you promote and you go to the next level. If you were bad and you got second to last place or last place, you got relegated and you went down a level. And I think when we had every single club battling in one league and promoting or relegating, we actually had standards exactly the way it should have been. Clubs playing exactly where they should be. Whether you were a big club playing at the highest level or the lowest level, it doesn't matter. That's where you stood and that's where your team was, and you had either had to build or and build and grow. Whether you had to find players or develop players, whatever. I thought that was where we had the most competitiveness within this country. But with this dilution of creating, I don't know how many leagues do we have nowadays?
I
We've
lost
got
count, man.
NPL, GA, Coast Soccer League, Cal South in LA, um, MLS Next. Dude, I don't even know how many leagues are going on anymore because it's just it's so crazy.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Yeah, the I don't know where soccer is headed. I think it took it away from the individual team and made it a club thing. So now clubs are battling, to have, because you have to be a part of a club to get into the bigger platforms. And then they have their individual teams, but it used to not be like that. It used to be forget the club. That was just whose badge you wore. It was the individual team, the individual coach that could develop and train their players, and the players could earn their way. I agree with you that that's gone away. Now it's kind of like, okay, you just happen to play for this club, so you're automatically into this league, and then you guys battle it out, but you're a part of the elite clubs. That's it's changed a lot. I know.
Yeah, you're a part of the elite clubs, but you're losing 10-0. So how are you elite?
I agree with you. I think that word is so overused, bro. I've had, because I have conversations with people. I end up following teams sometimes. I don't even know who they are, and then I look sometimes, and like you'll see an ECNL team, and I'm like, talking to the parent, and the parent's like, "Bro, we're on this team, and we're in whatever. We're traveling to Arizona, to Northern California, or wherever they're traveling to, hours and 5-6 hours away." And he's all, "We drive over there and we get blown out, and we're paying X amount of dollars. We're paying." I'm just like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how you guys do it because it just doesn't make sense. Like you're playing for a club that maybe the club has some upper tier teams that are really good, but they're throwing you in these leagues that they're not developing the talent to really compete at them. They're just there,
I
collecting money.
it just reminds me of I would say it was either my third or my fourth year of coaching. I had developed my team, and we had just gotten into gold, and we were playing pretty well. And then a parent from Eagles comes on over and joins my team, and then next thing you know, I have 6 girls leaving and going to Eagles because they were promised a better opportunity.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm all up for that, and people trying to move on up and get better. But the thing is as a coach, for me, I've always prided myself on developing players, and I feel like there's coaches that are not in it for that game to build players to build skill. They'd rather just steal and take. But the best thing that I could ever say, one of the biggest accomplishments, was losing those 6 players to Eagles, getting 5 bronze players in returns from Fusion, only to go to that Eagles tournament to beat them. That was one of the best feelings I've ever had. Can't deny that one.
Yeah. You know what's crazy about that is if you're losing a player and they're actually getting a better opportunity, that's great. You know, I know you personally, and I don't think you would be upset if they were actually getting a better opportunity. But if they're going somewhere, you're like, dude, I know this coach, I know that team, and they're just gonna pay more for less. You know what I mean? Like I've seen that before.
Right. And I mean, I'm currently going through this because I am with North Carolina Football Club, and it is more of a business type of environment where we are building players and trying to funnel them towards our professional teams. I mean, that's our goal,
Hmm.
not only as coaches, but as players when we're within this club. And on, I got a, I got a call last week that one of my players, Violet, she was picked up for the pre-courage team this season. And yeah, it's going to hurt me a little
But
bit for
that's
this
dope.
tournament that I'm going to have for the Jefferson Cup in February. But man, am I so ecstatic for that girl. I when we had our conversation about, I mean, in the beginning when we first had her, we set this goal.
Hmm.
Our goal was to develop ourselves and work as hard as we possibly could to get to that pre-courage team. And we had our moment where we were able to scrimmage them, my goal team versus their pre-courage team, and we ended up beating them 3-1, and it was lovely, and I'm happy that those coaches and those players got to see our players actually excelling and handling business, and I was so happy that she was scouted and seen. Um, it's really, again, it sucks to lose a player, but when you see someone grow and you see someone get to the next level, man, it's a hell of a feeling.
Yeah, that's cool that you have that situation with your current club because that's literally what we're talking about. Like she's getting offered an opportunity that you're like, yeah, this is worth it. Like, dude, if you don't go, I'm sending you. You know,
Yup.
like you better go. You know what I mean? Like that's very different. You know, I think when you do it for the right reasons, I think you're almost willing to put in a good word for that kid and try to encourage them to do better. But it's what we were talking about is more it's a different scenario. It's more like you're going somewhere because you're being recruited by, kind of like a car salesman kind of recruiting where they're promising you more than you're actually getting. You're overpaying for the Hyundai, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the grass
You
ain't
know what I
always
mean?
on the other side, but
Yeah.
nice to go ahead and try and see what the grass looks like.
Yeah. And we've seen the story of they go to the other, big club or whatever in your local area, then they come back. I've seen players where they go and then they come back less. Like, what happened? Like, you left a strong player, you come back regressed. Like, well, how does that happen? I don't know if it's they beat up the confidence. I don't know if it's the development just regresses. I don't know what that is, but we've seen that. I'm sure you've seen that. But yeah, I mean that's interesting.
Coaching, man, there's a lot of coaches in this world. Some of them don't do it for the right reasons. Um, and you know who they are clear as day.
It's
When you show
obvious.
practice and you see the energy that a coach brings to their practice, you know if your kid is in the right environment or not. And unfortunately, yeah, regression is a big thing. And if a kid does not feel inspired and if a kid does not feel important or cared about,
Hmm.
you're going to see that major regression. And that I've seen this season by the girls that I coached for the first time or for a full season, a full year. They ended up leaving my age group and moving on over to the next age group and the next coach, and they came to they come back to my sessions for instinct after maybe they haven't been able to play with me or train with me for maybe a month or two because their games are all weekend or on Saturdays and Sundays when we usually train, and
Hmm.
they come back and just you see just the look in their face. They're just unenergized, like the intensity is not there. And I mean, we all as coaches, we need to one make sure that we push them and we demand the most out of them, but also we can't forget that these players are people, and you need to care about them more than anything,
Facts.
and that's when you get out of them.
I agree with you on that one, 100%, bro. That human side of the game, I think a lot of people forget that. A lot of coaches specifically forget that. They get so caught up, and I almost don't blame them. I think it's a human thing. You got to kind of fight that urge to be competitive. I mean, you're talking about. I don't think many coaches get into coaching that are not competitive people by nature. And sometimes that competitive juice gets the best of you because you want to compete, like you want to be the best coach that you can be. I think that's what the problem is that I almost look at it like they want to be the best at what they're doing, so much so that they forget why they're doing it. That's what I think happens.
Yeah, my my biggest concern with the coaching world is egos,
Yeah,
and I didn't really realize that. I mean, I've always heard about egos and it being such an issue and it ruining a team and all that stuff, but I didn't really realize how terrible egos or coaching egos are until I left the state. Because when I moved on over to my new club, I it was a breath of fresh air, man, because every coach around you cares about you. They want to see you be better. Not only your team be better, but they want to see you be better. And people are like, coaches, before we even start our sessions, we'll huddle up, we'll ask each other how our days went and how everything's going in life and all that stuff. And then we'll ask about each other's sessions. What are we running? What's the topic for the day? How are we going to achieve this? How are we going to achieve that? And it's beautiful, just having those little conversation sparks a little idea in my head, sparks a little idea in someone else's head. But when I was coaching here, I would be on the same field with two coaches from, maybe even three coaches from my same club, and not one word to me, not even
yeah.
one word to each other. It's just because this person wants to be better than this person wants to be better than that. And all it does is really hurts ourselves and it hurts the kids.
Yeah, I feel you. That's great that's how your club is right now, man. Because I mean, I think it's like any work environment because it's almost that's what it is. It's like when you have a good uh, like ambience or like environment at the coaching level that you can really project that to the players. Because if you have a bad coaching environment, like it's almost the same thing. Like you're in the projecting that bad vibe to the players. So that's
Yeah.
good that you guys have that. I think maybe it has to do with the fact that it's a club with the professional level. Maybe they operate at a more professional level. That might be it because that's the downside of the smaller clubs. Because I always preach to people to go to smaller clubs, unless your kid. Because this is the thing about for me that I tell folks is I always caution people going to the bigger clubs like to only really go there if your kid is being recruited, and I mean not like for the B or C team or the bronze team or whatever. Not that like they literally want you to guest play because they're like, dude, we're gonna win if you bring you on. If that's your kid, then yeah, go. But
Yeah.
other than that, like go to a smaller club. But that is the one thing about small clubs is that you can get a really good club, and then you go down the road and you get a really bad one with a bad environment. So
Yeah,
it's
totally. I mean, with what, just to kind of piece off with what you're saying, I mean, when it comes to the big club, you're in the environment of being in a business, and your job is to be better than every single person on that field so you can be seen and move up to the next level. Just keep moving the needle forward, moving the needle forward, moving the needle forward until you get to the absolute top. Um, and that's fine. That's fine. But for the players that, we love the game, we want to play at a high level, but we're not that player that's going to be scouted. We're not that player that's going to move from the C team to the A team and so forth. Well, that's where I do think the little clubs really thrive because, I mean, my girls team, my Oxnard United team, oh man, I miss that. I miss that squad. I miss watching them play. But we got to where we were because it took us 8 years to grow, 7 years to grow. Not just individually, but as a team, as a unit. We knew what someone was going to do. We could read the back of our hand or the palm of our hands. We knew what the person was going to do when the ball was here. We knew our structure. We knew our unit. And that doesn't just happen. That was built. And when you get to the bigger clubs and you're moving from team to team, from coach to coach, because that's the way the environment is, you don't build that type of unit, that type of team. So you need to really realize what it is that you want to get out of this sport, what it is that you're trying to achieve, and I don't know what type of feelings you want to get out of it. Because again, you can be part of a team that stays together for years, and you build that family bond, that family unit. These are my sisters on the field, these are my brothers on the field, and I'll do anything for them. Or you could just, go to those big clubs. I'm going to do what I got to do because it's on me and I want to get to the next level, and I'll put everything on my back to get it done. So it just depends on who you are.
Yeah, but exactly. Yeah, and I mean, I think you can have both. I think what the problem is that they're trying to convert it all to just look out for yourself, try to climb the ladder. So I think there's a place for clubs like that, but I think what's happening is that a lot of the smaller clubs are going away. Like that option's got to be there. You know what I'm saying? Where they could just play, they can compete, grow as a team, build for years. Like I think that that's what we're losing, and I don't think we should.
Yeah, it's scary that it's
Mm.
dying. I mean, why is Surf in Ventura? Why is Arsenal in Ventura?
Yeah,
Why are you guys here?
yeah, I
Your
agree.
club never started here.
I agree. Yeah, it's just basically they're just coming in and they're selling the business plan. And I mean, I can't hate on them because I understand the need for wanting to have a bigger platform, because they're the only. I don't know if I know Surf has obviously ECNL ties, and on the girl side, so I understand the reason for it. But then what you're doing is then you're being
I,
sold. Yeah, you're being sold something that like I don't really think that club is run well. I don't have a problem saying it. I don't have no ties to no one, but I don't think that club is being run well here in the local area. Hear a lot of bad things about it. I don't really put anything out there because it's not really my place to really try to target any one club or any one organization. I really try to stay away from that, and I try to be neutral. It doesn't always work out.
yeah, and I'm definitely not saying anything bad about those
I
clubs.
am.
I'm not from here anymore. I don't know what's going on here anymore. So please keep me out of that one, guys. Keep me out of that.
Yeah, you keep him out of it, but I don't care. I said what I said. I'm not a fan of the surf in Ventura. I'm not a fan. Bless you guys if you play for them. I'm not talking about you. I'm saying the organization itself. I'm not a fan. I don't hear good things about it. I'm not a fan. I stand by that. But that's me. That's not Mikey. All right. So don't go after him. Come after me. It's fine. Oh man, but that's pretty much all the questions I have, Mikey. Unless you have something else you want to cover.
Um, I don't know, for any coach that's watching this, just again, remember that you're in the business of coaching people. These are people first before they are players, and you need to care about them with everything that you've got. Whether they're the worst player on your team or the best player on your team, you can help them move the needle and grow in any way possible. So I just hope more coaches coach with their hearts rather than coaching with their heads and their egos. And again, we just move the needle forward for anybody that comes in our path. That's all that I really care about, and that's why I'm in this game. That's why I do what I do, and that's why I'll continue to do what I do. I want to give the players an opportunity and a chance that maybe I never felt or got in my life. Maybe the mentorship that I never got or wanted in my life. I'm going to be here, and I'm going to do everything in my power to help anyone that wants it.
Perfect. All right, Mikey. Well, let's go ahead and end this session. Thank you for coming on, and I hope to have you in the future again.
Yeah, of course. Anytime, brother. I really appreciate everything you do. And I hope you stay blessed and have a wonderful night, man.
All right, perfect, man.
All right.